Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Lead Through Sport, the podcast, aka Spotlight Thursdays. I'm your host, Todd Scott, aka T Scotty on the socials. And today we have a 7-time NBA vet, the leading scorer in Virginia Division I men's basketball history, Reggie Williams. How you feeling today, my man?
What's up, Taj? I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on here, bro.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Before we get started, I'd like to let the viewers know what's going on here. So, Lead Through Sport is a platform that spotlights former and current athletes, entrepreneurs, and creators on their journey to success, providing people with knowledge nuggets for life. And you have a lot of knowledge for us to get into. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get into it, those who don't know, me and Reggie coach AAU together. This is your first stint of coaching AAU as well. So how has that been for you so far?
It's been an eye-opening experience. I've done some coaching before, but the AAU is a little different. Just being in front of like all those college coaches and the intensity that surrounds it as far as having to win games, being on that circuit, on the Adidas circuit. So you have to win versus being like a local mom and pop team. No offense to them, but it's, you just want the kids to play and get them tournaments and looks. And where we're coaching at, they're going to play. They're going to get looks, but it doesn't happen. Like, you have to win. So it's pressure. It's more pressure than I kind of expected. But I'm really enjoying it and learning a lot.
That's good stuff. So let's go ahead and start. Give us a fun fact about yourself that nobody knows, man. Start off like that.
Fun fact about myself that nobody knows. I like to bowl.
Like to bowl? Okay, I'll say that. I do too, actually. Do you go often?
Not as often as I would like, but when I do, I'm pretty good.
Where I feel that. So let's start this off talking about VMI. So you played 4 seasons at VMI. You ended with 2,556 points, 820 rebounds, and 379 assists all time. Talk about VMI, the school first, because I know that's a military school, and they have there's some things that I heard you got to go through military-wise to attend the school and play. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, VMI it's not for the weak, physically and mentally. You got to think you're a 17, 18-year-old high school kid doing whatever you want, waking up out of bed at 11, 12 o'clock in summer, hanging out, chilling all night. But VMI is like a rude awakening. Mm-hmm. And it wears on you mentally just because it's such a big shock to your lifestyle, to the person you were, and you're evolving and changing into this new person. Physically, like I said, just getting up in the morning and just having to do things you never done. Some kids go to VMI, they never done push-ups before, right? Yeah. You never ran a mile before. So it's an eye-opening experience. But as the school, I mean, if you can handle yourself in a manner of, keeping your head, not even keeping your head down, just being able to become someone that can just get things done or start a project and finish it or something like that. Mm-hmm. You can get through it. It's gonna challenge you and take you to places you probably didn't think you could go to, but mm-hmm. it's such a dope experience when you come out on the other side and you're like, man, I did that. Like, yeah. Because I went to school my freshman year, throughout my 4 years, so many guys I went into VMI with, by the time you graduate, they ain't there. Like, half the people that was in your freshman class, you graduating with probably less than half of that. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, because it's just a tough environment. But I wouldn't trade it. It was good for me.
That's real. So let's transfer to the court. Talk to us about your year-to-year development from freshman to senior year.
So my freshman year, I come into VMI. I'm 17 years old. Obviously, I turned 18 as the school year progressed. And it's just, everything is just different. The speed of the game, the players, because although VMI is not your high major Division I, it's still Division I. Mm-hmm. So I come to a team where some of the guys that's on the team, they had other Division I offers. They just chose VMI. So I tried to find my way, find my rhythm, find my pace. Luckily enough, I had good teammates and I had a great coach that was confident in me to throw me in the starting lineup, kind of just threw me in the fire and was like, make it happen. And I know a lot of guys don't get that opportunity like that. They kind of got to work and develop. My development came through playing my freshman year. VMI, you don't have 20 assistant coaches and GAs and all this. We had 3 assistant coaches and 2 managers that were students. So a lot of the work we did outside of practice was pretty much on your own, right? So I spent a lot of time just working on my game, like with my other freshman guys that came in with me. We just spent time in the gym just working, getting up a lot of shots, playing ones, just being kids, messing around in the gym, playing horse and things like that. But we just kept ourselves immersed in basketball and in the gym.
Yeah.
Then my sophomore year, when you talk about the jump, I got a new coach. So the funny part about my sophomore year is what people don't know, they see 18, 19 a game. But I was averaging like 22, 23 a game. And I got hurt at the end of the season. So my average dropped because I played and I had some games where I had maybe you saw some games where I had 8 points, 9 points. That's when my average went from being over 22 a game to 19 a game. But the new coach, new transition, it's tough. I see these kids, they enter the transfer portal or they leave school because they get a new coach. And I get it because new coach isn't the one that recruited you.
Yeah.
His style of play probably doesn't fit you. The coach that recruited you brought you there because you fit what they do. It's just not a relationship that you built or know anything about, right? So, but I stuck it out. And then my last 2 years, we changed our offense completely. And that's when I just really filled up the stat sheet and the scoreboard.
Yeah, unlocked. He was unleashed. So was there any, you coming in as a freshman on fire, was there anything you had to go through as far as teammates hating on you or anything like that?
No, luckily enough, I didn't have any of those issues.
Yeah.
Just one of my teammates just really challenged me. He's actually my best friend, so he really challenged me. He's one of my best friends, like I said. And I remember he told me I was a freshman, and he wasn't quite convinced on me yet. So he wasn't, and that's okay. That's good because the life lesson is everybody's not gonna like you or everybody's not gonna believe in you. Right? So we played High Point University at High Point, and at this time High Point was really good. I don't know what they are right now. They were really good, and he's I have been getting points, freshman. I'm averaging 15, so I got some 20-point games sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
And he was before the game, he's if you get buckets on these dudes, I give it to you.
Yeah.
So I remember I had 24 at High Point. I'd never forget this. You can look it up. I had 24 at High Point. We lost. We weren't very good. So after the game, I say, so what's up? You gonna give me my problem? Yeah, he's like, man, I can't say nothing else to you. He said, you had 24, because them dudes, all they did was foul, and they played super hard and aggressive. And that's why he said that. If you can score on them, then I can't say nothing to you.
Facts.
It's all right, you got it. I can't say nothing else.
So you led the NCAA, the whole entire division in NCAA in scoring, averaging 27.8 your junior year and 28.1 your senior year. What did that do for your confidence going into the next level, trying to go play professional?
It wasn't the fact of leading the country in scoring for my confidence. It was more the fact of when we played high major schools, what I was able to do against them. So leading the country in scoring is what it is, right? I'm at VMI. We play high major schools. We play our conference. And then every college sprinkles in those whatever, D3s, NAIAs, whoever it may be, right? Kentucky does it, Duke does it, everybody does it. So, yeah, I did that, the scoring. But it was when we played like Penn State, a Big Ten school, and I had 28 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's when we played number 4 ranked Ohio State, and I had 16 and 11. I had a double-double, right? It's when we played Maryland, and I had 18, 19 points, right? It's those type of games that's like, okay, I know I can play with these guys that are deemed, 5-star players, 5-star recruits, first-round picks, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that kind of put me in a perspective of where my game was at level-wise. Because in conference, we was in the Big South. I'm scoring 30,
going crazy,
30, and it's okay. But then when you play the ACCs and the Big Tens, and okay, how do I match up against these dudes? And I think that's where, for me, it helped when we played those bigger schools, and I was able to get in the double digits. Because you think about it, if you go to a Power 5 school and you average 13 points a game, and y'all winning, you probably gonna get drafted, right?
Yeah, facts though.
You go to Duke and you average 13, you're a first-round pick.
Yep.
Right. So, and their whole team is good, but it just puts in perspective, like, kind of, for me, it just put in perspective kind of like where I felt I was at.
Mm-hmm.
Versus averaging the high numbers, that was cool, but you got to see where you're at.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you played 7 seasons in the NBA, and you played for a couple of different teams: Golden State, the Hornets, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and the Pelicans. Talk about like what it took to get that first NBA contract with Golden State.
Oh, took a lot, man. Took a lot of determination, adversity, consistency, a lot of long nights and early mornings of just working and thoughts of like, how come I'm not getting this same opportunity as he's getting? But the biggest thing that happened to me was to get to the NBA. Obviously, I got to the NBA through the NBA G League. But the biggest thing that happened to me prior to that was my playing 1 year in Europe. And I played in France my first year out of college. And I always tell people that's where I actually learned how to play basketball. And people's like, what does that mean? And I say, okay, so when I was at VMI, my first 2 years, we played slow. We ran flex like my sophomore year. I was scoring 20 points in a flex offense. Like, yeah. You know how slow that is.
Absolutely.
Then you go on the other end and you playing defense. So the possessions are less. And I'm still giving 20. Then my last 2 years, we sped it up. We created more possessions. And my numbers went up. I was just a scorer. But one thing I didn't understand were things like pick and roll, right? How to run a pick and roll defense, help side defense. Like, I remember in France, I was guarding my man and the ball was on the opposite side. And I didn't know I was supposed to be over in help side defense. Yeah. I was just hugging my man. So they drove, and I'm supposed to be the low man. And everybody like, what are you doing? Like, where are you at? I'm like, what are you talking about? My man is like, no, it don't work like that. Like, but I didn't learn that. See, I didn't know. So the biggest thing for me my first year in Europe was I learned. I had to learn. Like, it was a big adjustment because it was a lot of things of professional basketball or things I would have learned at a different college that I didn't know.
That makes a lot of sense. So you done played with a lot of greats. You done played with.
I can run off.
Go ahead, do that for me. Go ahead and do it. Yeah. So you done play with Timmy.
Yeah.
You done play with Manu. You done play with Steph.
Yeah.
You played with AD as well, correct?
Yep.
Were you there? Were you there the season they had DeMarcus or no?
Yep, it was that season.
That's enough, right? They play with Tony Parker, Kemba,
DJ Augustine. I love DJ. Monte Ellis is like one of my favorite players ever. course, Steph is. That was my guy, man. We were rookies together, so that was just a different type of. It's like coming into with your freshman class in college.
Yeah. Go ahead, give me some more.
Even in Europe, even playing with greats in Europe, like Pablo Prigioni, Mirza Teletovic, who played in the NBA for a few years. He's a stud. Was a stud in Europe. Nemanja Bjelica, who's with the Warriors now. And yeah, I mean, and then you play against guys, right? You play against some of these great guys that you hear so much about. It's the world of basketball is just amazing, bro.
Absolutely. And my question is, like, all this that you got soaked up from these guys, what did you learn from them that helps you, propel your career forward?
Consistent. They're consistent and professional. They come in every day, they do their job, and they go about it the right way. You're supposed to be somewhere on time. They was there. They show up to the game every day for work. They did all the preparation to be successful in the game. Like me and you, right? Our example. We coach in AAU, but we scout to prepare our team for a win.
Facts.
I mean,
a lot of organizations don't do that.
Yeah, but yeah, we taking the time. Like our preparation for a game was there. Now will you win every game? Of course not. Ain't nobody going undefeated. But you try to be in the best possible situation to be as successful as possible.
Absolutely. And you were also a member of the 2017 U.S. AmeriCup team.
Yeah.
You guys won a gold medal.
Yep. Team USA FIBA AmeriCup. We beat Argentina's national team, which was crazy because we were like, I'm not gonna say like the D League rejects or whatever, but we wasn't like the U.S. national team, right? And so it's just so dope to, growing up, you watch the Olympics and all this, and how great the glory of receiving a gold medal and things like that. So to actually compete in an international competition, and then not only compete in it though, but to actually win it, it's like, that's mind blowing. Because you think about how many guys play basketball, right? And how many guys played at that time, and you only invite 15, 20, and I make them cut out of all the people they could have chosen, and then we win it. I think, to me, that's pretty special.
That's huge. That's huge.
So like few. Absolutely.
And to close this part out, for those who don't know, Reggie was a G League standout, and we talked about his journey to the NBA. I didn't see them clips. We don't watch them put together, as a matter of fact.
But not G-League to show off, just to show you different.
Yeah. No. Reggie's real humble. He was just showing me. Dude was talking about pick and roll basketball. He was showing me clips about how he orchestrated and like talking about what he's teaching the guys today, like just showing me how he did it and trying to pass the word. So that's what that was about. But G League standout, man. NBA vet, like I said, very good guy, great basketball player. Y'all know how that go. But now we're going to switch to a game that I like to play. It's called W2's Which and Why. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'm going to ask you to choose between the two and explain your reason why. So would you prefer a life with no music or a life with no television?
I would prefer a life with no television.
Why?
I love music.
Yeah.
I think music takes me places that I can't go. Normal,
I like that.
Right? So you might hear a song and it just puts you in a mood. It might change your energy. It just the melody, somebody's voice is very soothing to me. So if I had to choose, I could go without television.
I think I agree.
I can make it. I mean, television to me, even though I love it and I watch it, I mean, sometimes it's just a distraction because you watch nonsense sometimes. Like, it's a good show, but it really doesn't do nothing. Like you used to watch like not Fear Factor, like I don't even know if that comes on, but like Duck Dynasty or something, right? Just out there quack and hunting. It's cool. It's a good show. You're in a hunt, but it doesn't really nourish me like music can.
Facts. Who is the best player you've played with at the time you were playing with them in the NBA at that time? Like you can't choose Steph because he's Steph now.
Right. And I always say this. Anybody ever ask me, and I always say Monte Ellis.
Monte.
The man dribbled with one hand, and I just would sit and watch. I'd be either on the bench or on the court with him, and I just watch him go for 40. Like, it was so effortless. It's crazy. But that's my opinion. Monte.
Yeah. I feel it. And Monte was a dog.
And I know you can say, well, not Tim Duncan or no, they did their thing. They're obviously Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
But if you take someone like Monte, people don't really know how good he was, but I thought he was really special.
I respect it. If you had 24 hours to solve a mystery, any kind of mystery, what two people would you pick to help you?
Oh, man. Oh, shoot. That's a good question. I'd probably pick my boy Joe.
Uh-huh.
Boy Joe, he's a radiologist. And then I pick my other homeboy Anthony. We call him, amongst our friends, we call him the Renaissance man.
Uh-huh.
He does everything.
Yeah.
And he's like good at everything. He
That's
just
real.
doesn't hone in on one thing and become like the greatest, which you're not wrong with, but he's good at everything. So I'll probably take them too.
Okay. Last one. I know you said you got your bachelor's in psychology, and you said you later might want to become a psychologist. Which kind of psychology or psychologist would you want to be? Clinical, behavioral? Which one would you choose?
Probably clinical.
Clinical, and why?
I don't know. I just like to talk to people, and I like to listen. I just think I got a lot to offer. Like, and I might even be saying this wrong. But I want to be that psychologist, like that you come into their office and you like lay on the couch. And like, is that clinical or behavioral?
No, I think that's clinical because I want it to be clinical too. And that sounds like what I was trying to do.
Yeah, and I want to be like that person to help you unlock something.
Yeah.
That like breaks whatever you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I would prefer to do that. I think I'm really good at listening and helping people figure out and solve problems and issues.
Are you big in astrology? Like, do you know about like the whole Virgo?
I mean, I know about my Virgo sign, but I'm not like big saying this is compatibility or that. I know Virgos are like down to earth, very personable, easy to talk to, and things like that.
Now, I brought that up. I don't know a lot about that stuff either, but I brought that up because your birthday is 2 days before mine, and we're both Virgos, and we both like psychology. I got my BA in psychology as well, and I said that because like I feel like the fact that we're Virgos, we like to help people, and that kind of like led to us wanting to be psychologists.
Yeah, I love it. Like I told you, I think I told you before when I was in middle school, I was a peer mediator.
Yeah.
Right? So you selected amongst your classmates, and what we did was if two people had a disagreement, argument, or fight, fist fight, or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of sending them to the principal's office and then they get, some disciplinary action, they come talk to us first, and we would try to. It's like 5 of us that was selected, and we would try to help them work through it, and just figure it out from there.
Word, yeah, that's hard. Got to clear one thing up. When we was talking about you being a G League standout, I said you were a great person and an even greater basketball player, but I got to flip that around. I meant it the other way around. Great basketball player, even greater person. My bad. My bad. So we're going to move on. Let's talk 804, man. Reggie's from the 804. Discuss your upbringing as a youth in, elementary, middle school, high school.
Oh, it was cool, man. Everybody has their stories of, how they were brought up and stuff, but mine was good. My mom, my dad, my parents were separated though. They never got divorced, but I guess they might as well have been. They didn't live together for like years. I just basically lived with my mom, and my dad lived in Detroit. I stayed in Virginia, so I had my dad, but I didn't have my dad. If that makes sense, it just wasn't there every day. But it was cool, my dad was military, so even though he wasn't there, we still had the military benefits. So I would go on like Fort Lee, which is a military base here Virginia, and that's where I play a lot of basketball at against the Soldiers as a youth. You know, and my friends in my county and my town, we would play a lot of basketball together, play outside, played all sports, football, baseball, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I got to high school, we had all been playing basketball together for so long.
Yeah.
Like we was just a public school team that turned out to be good because we'd all been together. But yeah, growing up, man, I think I had it. I mean, I thought I had it pretty good. You know, I have no complaints about how I was. You know, I ate every day. I had a bed. I had my mom. We used to go on vacation to like Myrtle Beach and Nags Head. Just little stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty good.
And you talked about playing multiple sports. You are a product of Prince George High School, and you played
not Maryland, Prince George, Virginia.
Prince George, Virginia. You played cross country and volleyball.
Yeah, cross country, volleyball. Yeah.
Did those two sports have anything to do with did you bring any of that to basketball or not for real?
Most definitely. Cross country, I only ran to get in shape for basketball. and turned out I loved it. But I didn't know that, right? I didn't know going into it I was going to love it. I was like, how do I get in shape for basketball? I'm going to run. And then I'm running and I'm like, man, I love this. This is this is amazing. Like, yeah, it's a long run. It's 3 miles, but I guess I just love to compete.
Yeah, that's real.
And then volleyball I did because I ended up quitting cross country. I had some family stuff going on between my sophomore and junior year. So my junior year cross country, I ran like one race and quit. I just wasn't right mentally. So then going into my senior year, I was like, I'm going to try something new. I played volleyball because I wanted to jump higher.
Smart, though.
It actually worked. See, people don't know about me is that I had a 38-inch vertical. But people don't know. They like, you can't jump, but it's like I had that sneaky, that sneaky bounce. I just didn't use it. I could jump, and I think volleyball helped with that a lot. I played on the net a lot. I didn't really play the back line. I sucked back there.
Yeah.
But on the net, I was pretty decent blocking and stuff. So
got you.
I used other sports to try and improve areas of basketball.
And speaking of your athletic ability, I meant to bring this up earlier. You suffered a few injuries in your career. Just talk about that process of how you had to build yourself back to, get back to playing.
It sucks, man. The knee surgeries, the groin pulls, the hamstrings. The hamstrings and groins are nagging. So you don't really take care of them fully. Like the doctor says 4 weeks hamstring. Take 6. Like it's because 4 weeks means you don't feel nothing. But in them 4 weeks, that muscle got weaker. So take some more time to make sure you build it back up and get the endurance of the muscle up so it's not fatigued again. Same with the groin. And then you get the knee surgeries and you out, and it's tough because you get to a certain level and then something happens and you come here back down. And so then you have to fight and claw and grind just to get close to where you once were. Every time you get hurt, you drop, but you don't get back up. You just get back up, drop, get back up, drop, and get back up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it takes a toll on you, but I mean, as the way I love to play basketball, it hurt physically, but mentally it didn't really hurt because I just knew what I wanted to do.
That makes a lot of sense. You wanted it bad enough, so you went and got it. Last thing, man, give us one lesson that you've learned from sports in general that everybody can take home with them and apply to their everyday life.
For me, what I learned was work ethic. So you dive into something like I dove into basketball head first, right? I put everything into it. The next thing you find, take that same energy and put into it because you've already showed yourself that if you focus enough on something, you can be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've already learned about yourself that I know I have a cheat code. This is my opinion, or a key on how to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so whatever work ethic or whatever you're doing that you're putting into basketball, anything, knitting, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If something like that ends, you can find something else to dive into because you know that about yourself, that if you put your heart into something, you know you can make it work.
Mm-hmm. That's real. That's real. Well, Reggie, man, I love it, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me, man. Are you're not big on social media, are you? If you do, drop your stuff. If you know.
No, I mean, you can. Social media, my Instagram is at R5L5W. You can go on there. Ain't nothing there. I got 11,000 followers and I have no pictures.
Yeah.
But you can go on there and I'll DM you, or if you want to holler at me. But I'm not super big on it.
That's real. That's real. Y'all go follow him if you choose to. Y'all follow me as well at tscotty_. Follow my life development page at _rise to the occasion on Instagram and Twitter. Y'all know where to find me. Lead Through Sport. We here. Appreciate you again, Reg.
No, thanks, Todd.
Yes, sir.